and welcome to WRPB and WRPB Studios. Okay, so the gentleman sitting next to me sells a product that so many people don't know about, and some that do know about it think it's what it's not. Okay, with me is Chris Mass from Wits Frozen
Custard. Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's not ice cream, guys. Okay, I'm telling you now, if you haven't tasted custard, you have no clue. The difference between ice cream and custard is really pretty drastic. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Wayne.
Okay, so I remember when you were opening up in Stewart.
Yes.
How long was that?
2017.
Okay, so not thinking about when I opened up like 30 years ago, what I went through to open up. So I invited you on the air, but I didn't think that you just can't go because you have a business. You don't have staff yet, and you're trying to get all the tweaks through, so you never showed. Now, here you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about the difference between ice cream and custard, which we're going to get to in a second. But why did you choose to go with that, with Wits?
Well, it's an interesting story, and it's a valuable one for us. My wife and I have great friends. In fact, my wife's best friend since grade school is Lisa Whitman. Lisa and her husband, Chuck Whitman, started Wits in 2005. 2008, they started franchising. 2015, they were franchising around Columbus, Ohio. So 2015, they finally figured out how to logistically get our product, which is made special for us. We have our own proprietary mix, comes out of Ohio, and they had to figure out a way to get it south, outside of the distribution network of the Ohio region. So Jacksonville opened in 2015. Late 2016, they said, we've got it figured out. And I've always been this entrepreneurial guy. You know, I've been in lots of sales roles and management roles, and always been producing for other people.
Fool.
What's that?
A fool.
Yeah, well, maybe a fool, right?
I get it.
Yeah. We've all been there. And I said, why not put my skills to work for myself and for my family, and maybe for the community? So once Jacksonville was set and running smooth with the deliveries and things, we opened Stewart, and it's been an awesome ride. We had Stewart open and running, and I was working every day, probably 6-7 days a week myself, and open to close, and just trying to learn everything and make relationships within the community, and how can I serve and how can we serve as a company. And then we had the opportunity to open the second store, which we did in Wellington. Then the third store, which was December of 2020, we opened in Port St. Lucie.
That's by me.
Yeah, just off of Gatlin, and then we opened the fourth store last May in Jupiter. So we're strategic growth. We have a kind of a region that we're able to develop, and we're trying to fill in strategically within that. And again, it's all about how we can best be positioned to serve both the walk-in traffic, but also the community. Where are we close by the churches and the schools and different organizations that we feel really fundamentally that we want to give back, and so that's important to us.
Okay, so let's clarify this. Let's clarify custard, ice cream.
Yep.
Gelato.
Yep.
Three things that a lot of people know the difference between a gelato and an ice cream because you can taste it. It's a different kind of scenario. Very few people have heard of custard, okay?
Correct.
And don't know that experience of eating custard is so amazing. I told you the story. When I was, 7 or 8, my grandmother used to take me to work with her downtown Brooklyn, And she used to take me to Macy's at lunch. That was the main reason I went with her, okay? Because Macy's was probably the only place you can get custard, okay? And it was on the 4th floor of Macy's. I won't forget any of it. And she said, you got to try this, and I was hooked. It just has a totally different texture and flavor than ice cream. Why?
Well, if you think of the 3 products, ice cream, gelato, because we all think of gelato as a premium product over ice cream. Custard actually is a little bit higher in quality in the products that go in it than even gelato. So ice cream, they have the basic same ingredients, cream and sugar and things that go into it. But the one thing that differs, and it's substantial and it's important, is the amount of air that goes into the product. So ice cream has the most amount of air of the 3. Typical ice cream, whatever brand you buy retail, will have 60 to 70% air. So if you ever had a gallon of ice cream that you bought at the store and you forgot it in the car, you know that at the end of when you come back to find it, you've got this much product left in this container. It's gone, and that's the air that's escaped and melted. Gelato, the upgrade in gelato is they use less air, so it's a little more dense, but it's the same basic ingredients. And one of the things that gives those 2 products some flavor beyond the infusions that they use, whether it's a flavoring of the ice cream or things that they put in it, is butterfat. Butterfat is very tasty, and it's actually good for you in some ways. It's not the wrong kind of fat. Ice cream, again, typical mass marketed brand may have 2 to 4% butterfat. Gelato may have 4 to 6% butterfat. So it's a little bit higher butterfat, so it's a little creamier and less air. And then you get to custard, which is us. We have the least amount of air. So 60 to 70% in ice cream, about half of that in gelato. We only use, well, our product only has 15 to 18% air. So if this was to melt in your car, there would still be this much product in this cup. We also use a pasteurized egg yolk, so the creaminess that comes from that, and instead of 2%, 4 to 6%, we use 10 to 12% butterfat. So again, it's a richer product.
Is that what gives it the different texture?
It does. Well, the air gives it the different texture, really.
Okay.
And that's why it's so smooth and creamy. But the richness and the flavor that comes out. So we actually don't have to flavor our custard artificially as much as the other 2 products in the market. Which, at the end of the day, if you looked at the nutritional charts, we're lower in sodium, we're lower in fat, we're lower in calories if you took a vanilla cup
Right.
side by side. So I won't say it's a cup of broccoli, but it's also it's still a sweet treat. But nutritionally, it's lower in a lot of different categories that people pay attention to. So that's nice. But we find that from a texture, from a flavor, from the overall quality of the product, custard is the premium frozen treat.
Okay, so from the layman, I could care less about the quality because I love the texture and the taste. And that's what we go to the store for.
Sure.
Okay? Taste and texture. Now, how many different flavors do you carry?
So we're unique because we make the custard fresh every day. We have about 350 different recipes, different flavors that we can make. Every day we make chocolate and vanilla, and those are kind of base flavors. Through the week, we make a separate, a third, what we call a daily flavor, and then on the weekends we make 2 daily flavors.
Oh, wow.
So we have 4 flavors to scoop. Now you could put the custard, chocolate, vanilla, or the daily in a cup or a cone because we're scooping it. But the beauty of what we do is we have 30 to 40 toppings or inclusions, as we call them, that you can create your own flavor like this. So if you want to come in and say, oh, your flavor today is mint chocolate chip, but I'm not a mint chocolate chip fan, I can make butter pecan, I can make strawberry chocolate chip, I can make cookie dough M&M, I can make all kinds of things to order.
So that would be soft and then blended?
It's slightly softer. We do blend it because we have to create the flavor.
Right.
But think of it as our version of a blizzard.
Right.
Right? So we call it a Witzer.
Okay.
So our Witzers are things that people create. And there's really no limitations. It's all about your imagination or what you're feeling. You know, we can make Rocky Road. We can make, like I said, butter pecan. We can make all kinds of flavors to order that gives folks just this euphoria of, oh my gosh, what am I feeling like today? You know, and that's the beauty.
The $64,000 question is, what's the biggest seller? Is it vanilla or chocolate?
I would say, well, it's simple. Vanilla is actually
really
the biggest seller. Yeah, our base vanilla custard will. I make a joke to people. I say, now if you taste our vanilla, I'm going to ruin you for all things vanilla for the rest of your life because it's that good. But truthfully, the vanilla is a base for more of the creation.
Right.
So people use that over the chocolate. Our chocolate is considerably different than many chocolates on the market because I feel ours isn't so sweet. It has a more cocoa flavor to it, which people really enjoy. So it doesn't give you that syrupy taste. It's a much cleaner chocolate flavor, and people love it. So you can use chocolate or vanilla in whatever you make, but
if I'm making a flavor, I would use vanilla ice cream because, like, if I'm getting a sundae, let's just say, of ice cream or custard or whatever, it's going to be vanilla.
Yeah.
And then put everything together with vanilla because chocolate stands alone. For me, chocolate stands alone. Okay, I don't get I'll get vanilla ice cream or vanilla custard with chocolate sprinkles, or chocolate or hot fudge or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't get chocolate with chocolate sprinkles or hot fudge. It's already got the chocolate and the flavor's already there.
Yeah.
And it's already pretty perfect. When I eat, I told you a week and a half ago I got the chocolate. That's what I was in the mood for. You know, it's hard because I go in and I'm like, maybe I should get a thick shake. Maybe I should get some sort of blended. And then I end up walking out with chocolate. But
that's the beauty of what we do is like you're not pigeonholed into a specific menu.
Yeah, but you want everything.
Right. I mean, yeah, maybe that could be a problem.
That is a problem. Trust me.
We get plenty of people sitting there with like deer in the headlights, going, "What am I supposed to do?" And our staff is amazing. They are so helpful and so. You know what I love is I think we've created this culture where our staff is just grateful for everybody that comes in, and they serve them gratefully and humbly, and they don't try to sell, they don't try to pitch anything, they just try to explain and help and say, what are you in the mood for? What would you like? Because if I don't have it, I could either get close or find something that you will like. And it's so different. And we when we hire folks, we hire them saying we're looking for extraordinary from sharing your smile frequently and often. We say extraordinary because you're going to say please and thank you every time someone comes in. Extraordinary because you're going to greet folks. And we don't greet them with a shtick, oh, welcome to, we don't do that. We just say, hey, welcome in, and we have a conversation with the family that's coming in, and the kid's in his little baseball uniform. We say, oh, did you have a ball game today? And we have these conversations, and our staff loves it, and the customers love it, and I think it's not just the custard that makes us different. My favorite reviews are the ones that say, boy, I came in today and the staff was so friendly and the store was so clean, and oh, by the way, the custard was pretty good.
Well, there's
Because-
a rule of thumb
Yeah.
in the food industry. If I go into a restaurant and the food is excellent and the service is bad, I'll never go back. If I go in a restaurant and the food is good, not great, but the service is excellent, I'm coming back. So service is really top over the quality.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's really, really bad. We're at the top of our time. How do people
Sure.
find you? You have a website?
Well, we have Facebook pages, all of our stores. Instagram is seems to be the one that people are more engaged on. So it's at Wits of Jupiter, at Wits of PSL, at Wits of Stewart, and at Wits of Wellington. Those are the Instagram pages. We also have Facebook pages, and my email, Chris at witsofsouthfla.com. If they'd like to email me directly, happy to answer questions and get my managers involved if they have any issues. But we are always looking for great staff, and
If you have not had custard, okay, you can't even talk about ice cream, okay, because you've never experienced custard. You have no clue, and it's just really recent in Florida. It's not something that I've ever
so.
seen, okay, until I kind of ran into you guys. But you got to try custard. You got 4 locations to pick from, guys. Try it out. Check them out. I want to thank you for coming on.
thank you, sir.
Everybody have a great day, and we'll be right back.